you guys told me to prepare myself for this episode. It's gonna be a doozy, Lunar. You ain't seen nothing yet until you see Death 13, Lunar. You guys are right. I was not prepared for what I was about to see. Death 13. Of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust, Crusaders, episode 19, part 1 of the Death 13 two-parter. I apologize for being late with this one. I had a pool party to attend to on Saturday, so this had to be uploaded today. I'm really sorry. But after what happened these past couple of days, I really needed a break. So in this episode, it's not going to be Jotaro and the others this time. No, it's going to be Kakyoin as he faces off against another one of the stands based on the tarot cards, and this one is Death 13. Death 13. God damn. Out of the stands that we've seen so far, I thought these were the most dangerous so far. Justice, the Sun, and the Hangman. But they do not compare to the stand that is Death 13. So the episode begins with Kakyoin waking up hearing a baby crying, but there was no baby to be seen. But he does see an amusement park, which he is in right now, on the Ferris wheel. And there is a dog with him for some reason, I don't know why. But since he's in his pajamas, it's pretty obvious that he is dreaming. But he doesn't know what is going on, but there was a bunch of balloons floating up in the air. This green one floats near him, and attached to its tail is a tarot card. He picks it up, turns it around, and it reveals Death 13. In the picture, it starts to move. And by the way, Death 13's appearance is a Grim Reaper with a clown mask. So if you're scared of clowns, you're probably going to be scared of Death 13. So Death 13 pops out of the card and was about to attack Kakyoin with its scythe, but I think Kakyoin dodged it and only got his hand cut. Unfortunately, the dog gets pierced right through its head with the scythe. Okay, seriously, what is up with the animal abuse in this anime? Not just Stardust Crusaders, but in like the last two parts with Battle Tendency and Phantom Blood. I mean, there's been a lot of animals as of late that have been getting killed in like the most brutal, gory ways. And some of them happen to be dogs. Like, Araki, what is it with you and dogs? Did you get bitten by a dog when you were a kid that traumatized you so bad that every scenario you had with a dog in, you had to make it die in the most gory way possible? Well, there was one exception. It was when Cars saved this one dog from getting run over. Hell, it's not just dogs. Cats, bugs, crustaceans, mammals. I mean, in last week's episode, we saw camels getting killed. So seriously, what is going on with the animal abuse in this series? Now, the death scene with the dog was censored, but despite that, it was still kind of very creepy to watch, especially when you see its head nearly getting sliced open. In the manga, it's worse, because in the manga, the brains of the dog get spewed right out of its head. That is nasty. Kakyoin wakes up from this dream. Polnareff was with him, trying to wake him up because they're about to take the Cessna, which is a plane. Now, I am really grateful that they're finally taking a plane, because ever since episode 3 or 4, I always wondered why couldn't they take a private plane, because I'm pretty sure the Speedwagon Foundation will provide one. Now, Kakyoin, even though he woke up from this dream, he couldn't remember what happened in it. But when Polnareff left his room, he noticed that his hand was cut. They were about to meet up with Jotaro and Joseph, who were going to pick up the plane. They hear this kid crying and screaming, yelling that his dog is dead, and it was the same dog that died in Kakyoin's dream. It had the same wound. So if you haven't put two and two together, right when you see that dog, this was no ordinary dream. This was the work of Death 13. So, yeah, if you think about it, Death 13 has the powers of Freddy Krueger, which I believe this is what Araki referenced Death 13 from, Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger. Death 13 is a stand that attacks you in your dreams, and if you get hurt or die in the dream world, you also die in real life. Now, they couldn't take the plane, unfortunately, because the pilot has to take this baby with them because it has a fever, and there was no doctors in the town that they were in, so they have to get this baby to the doctor, otherwise this baby will die. But the group cannot wait for another day because they can't waste any more time. So the woman who was holding the baby had this proposition to make. Leave the baby with them and take the baby to the doctor when they reach to a town nearby. Honestly, I would not trust my baby with a group of strangers that I've never met. But considering that this is a life or death situation on both parties, I guess there was no other choice. But the thing is, there was something odd about this baby, because Kakyoin seemed to recall hearing the sound of a baby crying, but he couldn't fully remember the dream. And then Kakyoin noticed that the baby had these yellow eyes and it was smiling, revealing these fangs. At first I thought this baby was a vampire, probably one that was turned by Dio, but then I realized no, because they're out in the daytime and this baby would have turned into ashes by now. So it's not a vampire, but there was definitely something odd about this baby. So the group takes off in this plane, piloted by Joseph. Yeah, this is totally gonna end well with Joseph piloting. Just when they left, the woman who was carrying this baby wasn't really the mother of the baby. In fact, she found this baby near the well and she started to feel dizzy and had this urge to take the baby onto this plane. So she was being manipulated by the stand user, I'm assuming, but how, I really have no idea. But Kakyoin and Polnareff get tired and they're about to take a nap. Big mistake, because once they start closing their eyes and fall asleep, they enter into the nightmare world of Death 13. Since Kakyoin did lose his memories of what happened in that dream, and when he came back, I guess all the memories flooded right back into him, instantly remembering this was the dream that he had, the nightmare. However, Polnareff, okay, I love Polnareff, don't get me wrong, but this guy is way too carefree for his own good. I mean, the fact that him and Kakyoin are having the same dream, he doesn't think that's weird, but he's like, oh, it's a dream, doesn't matter really. And Kakyoin was trying his best to tell Polnareff that this is not normal, this is the work of the enemy, Death 13, it's a stand of dreams. But I wish that he would just be more suspicious over these kinds of things. I mean, you'd think with everything that they dealt with, ever since they left Tokyo, ever since Polnareff joined them after Hong Kong, you'd think after everything they went through, you'd think, we're having the same dream, and there's a stand that attacks us in our dreams. Yeah, something's definitely up. You'd think that would happen, but no. Is the dog that died in Kakyoin's dream was still there. The corpse was, at least. It was funny seeing Polnareff. He conjured up this ice cream and popcorn. Suddenly they hear this voice saying, "Lally-ho!" Talk about a big idiot. Yeah, the stand has a catchphrase called "Lally-ho." Yeah. But it was coming from the dog's corpse, which this microphone then protrudes out of the wound, out of the dog. I mean, well, all it took for Polnareff to realize that this is not normal is the stand itself telling him, not Kakyoin. The ice cream cone that Polnareff had, it turned into worms. Then an eyeball pops out of the dog's head wound and out reveals Death 13, which the stand's appearance, by the way, is a Grim Reaper with a clown mask. So if people are scared of clowns and if they saw this episode, I don't think they will like this episode. So Kakyoin and Polnareff tried to summon Hierophant Green and Silver Cherry, but their stands were not appearing. Death 13 can control one's mental energy. It is a stand that enters the unguarded mental state of sleep. And since stands, I believe, are a manifestation of one's energy, the stands will not be summoned if you're in a dream. They cannot summon their stands to attack Death 13, and only stands can defeat stands. They don't know who the stand user is, because if they attack the stand user, that's probably the only way to defeat Death 13. Now, things were getting really tense. It seemed that Polnareff was going to be the first victim, as he nearly got his head or his jaw sliced off by the scythe. But after that single swipe, his body just disappears. So Polnareff is safe because Joseph woke him up. He's not going to remember what happened in that dream. That's another one of the abilities of Death 13. The reason why, however, that Joseph woke Polnareff up was to change the baby. This is where I was really kind of confused with the censorship. They censored the gore in this anime, which, okay, I understand. And they censored Jotaro smoking his cigarettes because he's a minor. But when it comes to showing a baby's crap and his wiener, it's okay. When I saw that, I was like, ugh, Gross, because I do not want to see a baby's poop. But also, here's a tip. When changing a baby's diaper, do not hold the baby upside down. Now, even though Polnareff is safe, Kakyoin is not, as he is still sleeping. In the real world, his body starts like screaming and like flailing around, yelling out, "Stop! Stop!" Jojo, Polnareff, and Joseph notice this. They try to get him to calm down, but unfortunately, he kicked Joseph in the face, which caused him to like push down the steering wheel of the plane. And the plane then plummets down to the ground, and they were about to crash. Oh, Death 13 even tries to get Kakyoin to like stay still because he doesn't want his stand user to get killed along with the rest of the guys in the plane crash. But here's the thing. The only people in the plane were Jotaro, Joseph, Kakyoin, and Polnareff, and the baby. And the stand user is in the plane. The baby is a stand user. Dio, where do you find these people? Like, this is what I want to know. How the hell did Dio discovered a baby that can use a stand that can attack you in your dreams? I want to know, like, how that went. Better yet, where the hell is this kid's parents? Like, okay, if this woman is obviously not the baby's mother, so then who's the parents of this baby? And it's just, what? Like, okay, I understand that stand users are born with their stands, but the fact that an 11-month-old baby has a stand that has the powers of Freddy Krueger is just crazy. It's just insane. It's just, wow. A very dangerous stand, probably the most dangerous stand that these guys have ever faced so far, and its stand user is a baby. I think this baby has to be like pretty intelligent and has a high amount of mental energy in order to have like a stand like this. Death 13 traps Kakyoin right between this metal bar in the Ferris wheel car, and then use these strings to bind him up. That's another ability that the stand has. In this dream world, he can control anything and everything in it. Things get off into an even more creepy turn when eyes start leaking out of Death 13's eye sockets, and they go into Kakyoin's mouth to shut him up. Oh god, this stand is scary. Seriously, I feel so bad for Kakyoin. You know, I wouldn't be surprised when all this is over, this is what he would be doing.
Can't sleep, clown will eat me. Can't sleep, clown will eat me. Can't sleep, clown will eat me. Can't sleep, clown will eat me.
You know, I'm surprised these guys still have their sanity after everything they went through. So he pulls out this knife. I guess if you have everything with you in your pockets, I guess they also come into the dream world too. As he carves his hand, I thought it was to wake him up at first, but no, in actuality, it was a message to himself to remember about Death 13, because we all know when you wake up from the dream world, you don't remember anything. And the message was baby stand. Joseph decides to use Hermit Purple to control the plane, which it worked at first. Unfortunately, Kakyoin was still not awake, and Death 13 was then about to proceed to kill him. But just when Joseph was like celebrating, Jotaro points him out to like look right ahead, and there were palm trees right in front of them, and they crash in the desert. Are you kidding me? I mean, everything in the desert. Palm trees? Well, I don't know like what the desert is like in Saudi Arabia, so maybe there are palm trees there. That actually did cause Kakyoin to wake up. If you guys are not counting, that is the 4th time Joseph crashed a plane. This guy seriously has bad luck with planes. I think he's cursed with planes. They had no choice but to send out an SOS, you know, for the baby's sake, which, funny thing really, its fever was gone. Imagine that! Well, Jotaro, Polnareff, and Joseph assumed that this is just a regular baby, and Joseph was playing peekaboo with him, which I thought was kind of cute, but then I remember, oh wait, no, this is a stand user, it's evil! They were starting to suspect that Kakyoin was starting to lose it because of the stress that they had to go through by constantly attacked by stand users. But Kakyoin noticed the message on his hand, and when he took a look at the baby itself, it had this like malicious look on his face. And that's when he instantly knew that the baby was a stand user. Unfortunately, Kakyoin's the only one that knows this. The rest don't. And they believe this baby is just an innocent, cute little baby. But it's not. Which, if you think about it, The only way to defeat the stand, if they can't summon their stands, is to attack the stand user, and the stand user's a baby, which looks innocent, and it'd be kind of weird to see them attack a baby. Unfortunately, Kakyoin had to like grab the shirt of the baby, which he starts to cry. Joseph had to like take it in his arms. I did not understand why Kakyoin didn't show them the baby stand message that was carved on his arm, because they were with him this whole time, so they would have at least noticed that he would carved his hand, but he carved it in the dream world. But I'm assuming that if he did show them the message on his arm, they wouldn't believe him either way. They'd probably think it was some weird type of self-harming or something, probably caused by the stress of getting attacked by stand users constantly. This is not a really good situation for Kakyoin. And that's basically it from the episode. So overall, this episode was one of the most messed up and creepy episodes that I've seen so far of Stardust Crusaders. The tension and the suspense was pretty high, and that's one of the things I like about Jojo. It builds up the tension and the suspense on what's to come in the episode. And I think this is even more suspenseful than the beginning of the Lovers two-parter and the Justice two-parter. And Death 13 itself, it's a stand that attacks you in your dreams, and if you die in this dream, you die in real life. You can't even summon your own stand because you're, well, asleep. You're in this dream world. And it can control anything and everything in this dream world. And when you wake up, you don't remember what happens in that dream. It's a pretty crazy ability, and this is one hell of a stand. Probably the most dangerous stand that they've faced so far. Well, mostly Kakyoin, but these guys will eventually face it too. But it makes it even more crazy that the stand user is a baby. The animation was, once again, good as always, and I really did like the music, especially used in the dream world and the scenes with Death 13. I thought they were really good. The voice acting was good as always, especially with Daisuke Hirakawa. He did a good job actually showing the fear in Kakyoin. This is the first time I've seen Kakyoin being like afraid. I really feel bad for him, especially with all the crazy things that happened to him in that dream world. I mean, the eyeballs, ugh, it's nasty. And I have to give kudos to voice actress Ikue Otani. I hope I said that right. She was the one that voiced Death 13 and of course the baby, who has also voiced many roles, but best known for Pikachu from Pokemon. Yes, she voiced Pikachu. Chopper from One Piece, Konohamaru from Naruto Shippuden, and Mitsuhiko Tsuburaya from Detective Conan. The pacing of the episode was also good. It was mostly setting up the reveal of Death 13 and building up into the confrontation between Kakyoin and Death 13, which I think is going to be the conclusion to the two-parter. And in terms of plot progression and story progression, I think it's also been doing good too, because I believe they're like halfway through Saudi Arabia. They're getting closer to Cairo, and I know that since this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the closer they are to their goal, the higher the chances that one of these guys is going to die. Which I'm kind of scared, because what if it's a character that I like, and it sucks because I kind of like all the characters. It was creepy, it was scary, it was JoJo, that's all I gotta say, but I really did like it. There were some things that I was a bit confused at, but aside from that, this was a really good episode overall. Now the preview, it did show a bit of Kakyoin trying to convince the rest of the group that this baby was a stand user. However, they don't believe him. I'm assuming that they don't believe him. But considering that they showed Hierophant Green, I think Kakyoin's gonna come up with a way to defeat Death 13 somehow. I don't know how, because you cannot summon your stand if you're in this dream world, so maybe there's some sort of loophole in all this. And Kakyoin can't technically attack a baby, because I know this is another one of DIO'S minions and all, but it's still a baby, so yeah. And I cannot wait for next week. It's gonna be really great. So if you want to check out the episode yourself, it is out on Crunchyroll. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And tell me guys your thoughts on this week's episode of Stardust Crusaders. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts on Death 13 and its stand users baby? I still can't comprehend that. I know people are born with stands, but I'm like, really? Come on, it's a baby with a stand that has the powers of Freddy Krueger. It's just, really? Okay. Like the video if you like it, and subscribe to more videos. I'm sure check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Stardust Crusaders episode 19. I cannot wait to see how they're gonna defeat this stand and this baby. I'm gonna respond to 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.